The Ashpine Asylum tapes. They say the Ashpine Asylum burned down in the 1970s. They say it was an accident. Faulty wiring, faulty staff, faulty patients. But no one rebuilt. No one ever set foot on the land again. Except me. I'm Trevor Hale, paranormal investigator, or at least I was, before everything went wrong. This story is about the last case I ever took. It began with a letter, no return address, just 5 words written in red ink. You left them behind, Trevor. And a GPS coordinate. It led to Ashpine Asylum, a place I swore I'd never return to. The building stood like a corpse. Charred brick, sagging roofs. Ivy curling around busted windows like veins. Ashpine had been shut down for 47 years. The fire gutted most of it, but parts of the east wing still stood, blackened and silent. I used to work there as an intern back when I was 19. It was a cruel place, the kind that treated mental illness like sin. Patients were numbers, not names. Some never left. Some were never supposed to. And some were never even alive to begin with. I brought a camera, a flashlight, and an old map of the facility. The first room I entered had peeling paint, overturned beds, rusted chains on the wall. A clipboard lay on the floor, scribbled on it. Play the tapes. Confused, I ventured deeper and found the old media room. To my surprise, it still had power. A backup generator must have kicked in. On the shelf, 6 unmarked VHS tapes. 1 for each floor of the asylum. The first tape labeled only 1, the intake. I slid it into the dusty player. Static. Then a flickering image. An old doctor stood before a row of chained patients. He was saying something, but the audio crackled. His face was warped, like the tape was trying to hide it. But over the video, a whisper came clear as day. "They never left, Trevor." My flashlight flickered. Behind me, I heard the sound of chains dragging. The deeper I went, the colder it got. Ashpine had a layout like a labyrinth, the walls curved. Rooms connected in illogical ways. The architecture itself felt wrong. I passed old murals painted by patients, red eyes, burning trees, men with no mouths. In the east wing, I found room 213, the worst of them all. The door was welded shut when I was an intern. Back then, we were told to never ask what was inside. Now the door was wide open. Inside was a single chair bolted to the floor. Chains hung from the ceiling, slick with something wet despite the dust. On the wall, scratched deep into plaster, were the words, "It didn't burn." I turned to leave. The hallway behind me was gone. I stumbled into a corridor I didn't recognize. The rooms here looked newer, clean, as if untouched by time. At the end of the hallway, a room was lit from the inside, warm yellow light spilling into the corridor. Inside sat an old reel-to-reel recorder and 2 chairs. One was empty. The other held a patient. Thin, gray, wearing a hospital gown marked 142. He stared at me and said, clearly, "Why did you leave us, Trevor?" I didn't know how to respond. He leaned forward. "You ran from the fire. We burned. You forgot us. But we remember you." His mouth opened impossibly wide. Black smoke poured out. And the lights died. I ran blind through the halls, chased by footsteps that never touched the ground. Doors slammed on their own. Whispers curled around me like smoke. I saw figures standing in corners, faces covered in bandages, mouths sewn shut, fingers tapping on glass that wasn't there. Then I reached the burned ward, the place where the fire started. There were rumors back then that Ashpine wasn't just a hospital. It was a containment site for something older, something inhuman. A patient arrived in 1965 with no name, no origin. They said he could whisper into your dreams, "Drive staff mad!" In desperation, they tried to burn the place down. They failed, and now he was awake again. One last VHS tape waited for me. 6. Trevor. I didn't remember recording it, but I watched. The footage showed me, young, in uniform, helping load a gurney into a room. On the gurney was a patient screaming, fighting restraints. Patient 142. The one I left behind. I saw myself walk away as flames began to spread. The camera zoomed in on my face. I was smiling. I don't remember smiling. I don't remember any of that. But the tape didn't lie. The camera cut to black. Then a final message appeared on screen, typed in flickering red letters. "Ashes don't forget." I made it out of Ashpine that night. Somehow. But I brought something with me. Sometimes I find ash on my windowsill, even when the wind isn't blowing. Sometimes I wake up with restraints on my wrists. And sometimes I hear the tape playing from inside my closet. It's always the last one. Trevor